Hi guys. I am so sorry. What was that? I don't know what I just did. I tried to get to a page and then I just accidentally click on stop streaming. So I'm just gonna go back to delete that stream that I just did. I'm sorry, it was like a couple minutes anyway, so there's no reason to. So let me reiterate just in case somebody, I don't know how many people watch that. So let me just come back and not kind of deviate from any tabs anymore. So to avoid, you know. Anyway, I only have a limited of time, so that's why I'm kind of rushed and doing this really quick. I should have done a pre-recorded video actually, but hey, we're live. We're doing this kind of like inspired by Moran's anyway, right? Edit, no cuts and all that stuff, but I still cuts out anyway. So who knows? Hey, it's a learning process. This is what it is. So let's do this. So as I was saying in the last live stream, so sorry if you've seen it and I'm repeating myself. My goal of this particular video is just to come out here and kind of like sort away all of the name calling, right? All of the, kind of immature way of going about looking at this company, right? I know a lot of people have a lot of opinion about this company, but something ring true to me, in my opinion, right? Because that's facts, right? You look at the number and then you see whether you like the company or not, then invest in it or bet against it. You could do that as well. If you want to do that, be my guest. People who trade, they are bragging about how great of a trader they are, and then they would call people who are investing in this company as a back holder. And those terms, again, it's a very gut punching term to try to get you to do something with your investment, right? And so again, those are tactics that these people are telling you to do certain things because they were betting against it, right? Again, this is my opinion. It's not or observation, right? And so they would tell you certain things about how this company is not worth anything. It's shit company. All of that is a sentiment that they want you as an investor to feel. And so if you want to invest better in this market, you need to be aware of those type of sentiment as well. Now the opposite way also ring true is that people who are a bull on this company will create some sort of narrative for you to be like diamond hand and all that stuff. Again, those type of things also a hype to the other side as well. $10 million a share, you know all of that is another form of uh, not understanding the company, right? Now I understand the market structure, like the short squeeze and all that stuff. Yes, can those price point be possible? Those are very slim, right? But you don't want to you know evaluate the company using that terms terminology, right? You can't come to the truth. But this company is worth looking into. So that's where I'm here for. And I know, again, people would want to, to say that Roy and Kitty's dump on you. He sold the call. He sold everything. There's therefore his pump and dumping. Like there's no evidence of that, right? I'm not Roy and Kitty, so I don't know, his true intention is. But from what I could observe, he's not here to pump and dump. He's here to tell you, hey, I want shares. I am long-term investor. I've been dollar cost averaging or buying at every level that I could buy, right? Using his knowledge about call options and all that stuff. Yes, to amplify his holding in this company. I mean, the fact that he is the fourth largest shareholder in the freaking world as a retail could tells you something about his genius, right? The nature of this person who is incredibly bullish on this company. Now you could argue like whether he's dumb or stupid for doing what he does, or the reason why he's so successful is because he was able to convince dumb people to buy into this company. Then you're just looking at it as a trader point of view, right? You might miss something uh, better, in my opinion. Okay, let me just stop my soapbox here. So let's look at the number and see whether it is a company that is worth looking into. I'm sure you've seen this number before. It's not new for people who are buying into it, but of course, the news would love you to, you know, see this type of like, oh, the reason why GameStop is successful is because Roy and Kitty, right? The company does is not worth anything. The company is not based on fundamental. Well, in my opinion on that one, it is based on the turnaround story. People invest in this company. Well, there are so many market participants out there. Yes, there are momentum trader, there are option trader, there are volatility trader, there are people buying share and sell it at day traders, right? So and investor, right? So those dynamic is in one stock. No wonder this stock is going to be talked about for decades on end. It's never gonna escape your consciousness per se, even though when 3 years ago happened and the share price was $10, think about the sentiment back then, right? That this company is not worth anything. So if you are investing based on this type of sentiment, you're not going to understand where the company is going. So that's why it's most importantly to learn to invest better by going into the spreadsheet yourself. Learn how to do it yourself. And if this analyst says to sell at this point, does it make sense? If this analyst said that the price target should be at $11, okay, why is it at $11? I thought it was not worth anything. It should be at $5 for a long time, right? And so, why are these analysts saying those things? So let's look at that forecast right there and see what's happening over here, right? So of course, there's only one analyst. 3 years of this company, nobody is willing to give this company any a look. Take a look. Again, this is one person, right? Like all of a sudden, okay, now it's worth something, right? It used to be worth $6. Think about that, or $5, and then up to seven. Now it's up to 11 and 40, 14 to 11. So what is this? Is this person that you're supposed to be listening to? Because if you were listening to him 3 years ago, or when the share price was at 10, you would have exited out your position already. And then you'll be dumbfounded, like, oh, the only reason why I went up from 10 to now, the current price, is because of Roaring Kitty. Then you would have missed because Roaring Kitty didn't come in until it was like 17 already, right? So you would have missed out on the opportunity to, honestly invest in this company, right? So why am I bullish on this company? So if you listened to me before, you would understand, hey, I'm here for a long term. I'm here for the company itself. I'm not here for the short squeeze. The short squeeze is just a caveat that it may or may not happen. Right? Again, I cannot prove how many fake shares there are, right? So I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing on the fundamental of the company. And again, like when it was here, people were like, oh, now the company has to wait another year, full year, in order for them to make $6 million. Did you remember hearing that at all? I'm sure the bears out there, the people who are actively shorting this company to oblivion, I don't know, again, speculation here, would want you to believe that. It's like, and then we were like, for people who understand how the balance sheet is being calculated, it's not that way. Of course, we didn't have to wait the whole full year for GMA to post a profitable company, a profitable, higher profit than $6 million. No, all you have to do is see 1 quarter later, you get what, 3 times as much. Not even three, four times, sorry. 4 times as it was. And it's only 1 quarter. So the next quarter, of course, it's remained to be seen. Hopefully we're gonna do well, right? But again, this is what they want you to focus on. Just one metric up here. Focus on this metric. Focus on this metric. Look, it's declining. Look, the revenue is declining. Okay, what else are you looking at? If you invest in the company looking at just one metric, then you're missing the whole picture here, right? So that's precisely what create the opportunity for people who know what this company is doing. And again, I'm so glad that I, learned to read, in between the line here and see the value created from this company. Even though people keep telling you it's a shit company, it's a shitco. Why would you buy into it? There's no fundamental reason for you to do it. When there is a fundamental reason. The fundamental reason is that now they're posting a freaking positive trailing 12 of $25 million. What more? Okay, what more do you want to ask? Like leadership has been doing everything they can to come from 500 million to now positive. Okay, and you could say, as traders, I get it. You're frustrating, to get this company to appreciate in share price or whatever. I get it. If you're trading, you're gonna be pulling your hair out from wherever, because you can't predict the price. It's confusing to you. It's like, oh, this company should go under. Why is it not? And then, when you get blown out of your position, you call market manipulation. It's like, what the hell? And the other way, people who are longing this thing, thinking it's going to the moon, pulling their hair out when the share price is coming down. When you're not understanding that the price action is so psychologically driven. And this is what they do. The roller coaster. And when people are not selling up here, the shorters out there, they're like, I don't understand why these people don't sell. I'm like, well, I mean, there is a whole bunch of reason why people holding until whatever price they feel like it should be worth, right? So if you're mad at people holding on to this stock, then I mean, isn't it supposed to be a free market? People could do whatever they wish to with their property, right? And if you're forcing people to sell by saying, or at least, calling them names, then I mean, isn't that your problem? Why don't you just add more to your position, right? If you think that we're dumb enough to hold at 60, and not selling, then short it. You would have made so much money over here. Then you should be happy that people are stupid enough to buy into this company, right? So it's like there's no appreciation on this facts whatsoever. So anyway, so let's but anyway, so I'm just soapboxing. Okay, so let's look at this right here. Of course, there's improvement needs to happen, obviously, right? But we incrementally improve. Uh, and here's the thing: this is the headline, obviously, right? And this is what people are missing out on, in the sense that if you just read the headline and not really listening, or at least look into the balance sheet in the whole entirety itself, you might not understand what's happening over here, right? So look at the quarter one right here that we just had compared to the last quarter one right here. You see this cost of revenue? Cost of revenue is dramatically decreasing. So if you look at that and see, okay, yes, they were, doing the best they can to increase the profit margin here. So look at this. Look at this profit margin. I mean, how? How are you not seeing the improvement in your freaking face over here? Like, I don't understand this. I'm listening to people. I'm like, this company has no fundamental reason to invest. Okay, well, let's look at this. At least incremental improvement doesn't ring any. It's like, okay, well, if they could do this quarter, then next quarter they could possibly increase a little bit more, right? I mean, just 3%, 3 whole percent. That's not good enough for you. Well, I think people who know how to analyze the company would say otherwise, right? Um, then how come nobody analyze it? Well, because they don't want you to find out now. They want to scoop up poop and scoop, right? That's the strategy of every institution out there. They don't want you to buy into a low. They want you to buy into a high, just like Nvidia, because that's how they make money. So understand that psychology, then you might be able to pick out why this company is such a kind of like a sweet spot here in the moment at the moment. But anyway, so there you go. I mean, yes, we're still, look, profit margin down 3%, but come on. I mean, 3%, that could be even more improvement afterwards. So look at that, right? Um, Expenses. Let's see, operating expenses, right? So we're still kind of like, yes, above. Well, yeah, it costs us more to operate this company than the profit margin, but that could be right here. So quarter four. I mean, quarter four is usually the best quarter we have. If we could beat this one right here, now if you look even further around here, right there, right? So last year it's a lot less from last year. So we are improving $8 million, even though we're like our revenue is like 20% down. So what does that mean? It means that the profit margin is higher, right? If you don't understand the percentage increase, then learn because if they are able to scale again, it's going to be off of the 20% profit margin, not 23% profit margin, right? So it's about scaling, right? So at the current state, it is a sweet spot to be. Um, why losing $50 million is such a nonchalant way to look at this? Well, the recent development is that they have cash now, right? They could technically use that in a marketable security or buy some other company, right? That's a speculation. Shareholder meeting is going to be Monday. And yes, of course, we're going to be on edge, listening in to try to get the news of what Brian Cohen's going to do or leadership's going to do with that money. But again, I don't doubt that he's going to use the best to his ability to make this company even more profitable than it is today. I mean, I'm looking for like $50 million more a year. So my expectation is very grounded, and I think they could do much more than that. But uh, my expectation is that anything in the plus is good, right? I don't care how much it is in the plus, as long as we're afloat and not bankrupt. That is the the way that I look at this company. Not to say that I don't believe that leadership could do more. I just think that leadership has been very conservative in their cash position. There haven't been any dilution lately since the 3 years before. And so these two dilution, I think it's a smart way to play it, because again, in my opinion here, leadership is here to operate the company for the long run, right? So short squeeze, even people who are trying to create that short squeeze, will not be good will not be good for the company valuation because it's going to be skewed too much. And so the fact that he diluting shareholder, now mind you, dilution typically means bad, right? But in this case, they dilute, shareholder get more equity into the company. So there's no reason to be ups in arms about here at all, because if you look at the balance sheets over here, right? Okay, here we go. So the shareholder equity right now, it would be billions, okay? $4 billion, right? Because they just added $3 billion of the dilution, so to speak. So this is not included yet. Um, so $4 billion of shareholder equity would give you about $10 in cash. And I think this is why, even the bear of the bears of them all, right? The people that are, shorting this company to oblivion still give a price target of $11. Okay. So, of course, that's a very low ball. Like if you were to walk to to the board of director right now and say, hey, um, I'm willing to buy you at $50. Good luck try to get this company at $50 from the board, from the leadership, from shareholders. No, we're not going to sell at $50. Why? Because we think that we have a best the best chance at being much better than that, right? In the future, obviously, I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm willing to be here as long as I can in order to seek this through, right? There's so many roadway for you to. Right now, we're ground zero over here, right? We used to be like in ground uh, to nowhere, right? From the risk of bankruptcy, from burning cash like crazy to now profitable. How is that not an amazing thing, right? And that is only in the span of 3 years, you guys. 3 years. That's it. And people is up in arms about it. And I have a lot of discussion about this company, in my personal life, obviously. And I understand, like, look, people are, everyone I talk to obviously believe in the same thing because they don't understand the company from the from the beginning, right? And they listen to the media, and it's hard to shake those perception. And I think this is why the media is so effective in affecting your psychology about this company. And of course, like to me, that's an opportunity, right? I keep saying that over and over again because when the herd is looking at the wrong thing, you want to kind of pinpoint what's wrong with that perception about the company. How can the company not worth anything when they do have a profitable quarter, right? Or at least trailing 12, sorry. Not this quarter, I mean. So understand that, the trailing 12 is what is important here, and the trend of net income is what important here. Not so much this one. Yes, this is important in expansion. Yes, growth, right? Just like Moran's was saying, growth is factored into revenue increase. Get that. But there's no sense of growing in the environment of not of people are not having cash to do anything. Discretionary spending, right? We're in the category that take a hit the most when when people don't have any personal saving left to you know to spend willy nilly, right? Because they spend it on the needs now. So the fact that we come out at this price point or at this valuation or whatever valuation, sorry, net income is a very very good thing for the company. Of course, I think this is dilution and all this stuff, but it's still not a complete picture here. What else do I need to talk about? Oh, okay. So if you look at the interest right here, so while negative implies that the company had more interest income. Okay, so negative means that we receive interest. So look at how much we receive. See that? So the interest that comes from the cash investment keeps this company afloat, right? And I think this is the major criticism now. That's all they could attack this company on, right? The fact that, oh, the underlying business is dying, but this company is cash rich. Okay, well, isn't that a good thing? At least it keeps, the company afloat. And the reason why we don't do anything with the cash right now, perhaps we're waiting for a bigger opportunity than just, buying everything at an overinflated price, right? Of course, every economy or data out there, if you are as well versed, I'm sure Ryan Cohen has access to those data more than me, right? He's not a dummy. Like to me, he is an investor as well. I'm sure he's aware of the the possibility of a downturn here, right? And so even if tomorrow, come Monday morning, they didn't announce anything, Ryan Cohen just say a few words and then mic drop. Yeah, I'm still waiting. It's like, okay, marketable security. What is the interest payment then? It would have been 200 million. a year. Okay, so how much? Uh, how much can that be worth when the company has cash, rich in that sense, and earn 200 million dollars just on cash alone, doing nothing. So yeah, I mean, is that the smartest thing to do? There you go. So, and then the main criticism then would be like, oh, he's so dumb, he doesn't know what to do with the cash. Okay, but we make money, we make interest. I mean, even the dumbest people would keep this company afloat. So imagine the genius. Genius, sorry. Imagine if Ryan Cohen is smarter than people think, right? And so, like Ron Kitty said, right? If you don't think Ryan Cohen is a doofus, then of course the possibility is endless. To me, again, I could always speculate on what they're gonna do and all that stuff. Of course, it would be wrong, right, for me to do that because it's gonna be just speculation here. But honestly, if you have cash, you have the ability to make decision very, very quickly. Um, and so, unlike any other company that has, the shareholder equity, not cash, non-cash shareholder equity, like they get tied up into some property, some asset that is illiquid at the moment. They cannot make snap decision like GameStop. So GameStop has that ability of making that quick decision. If they want to buy something, if they see any opportunity on the market right away, they have $4 billion to do so. And so yes, that's worth something, you know, as well. Not to mention, the fact that we could be the holding company for, perhaps distressed credit investor. How about we turn to be the bad guy too? We invest in other company and just suck the value of other company to get into GameStop. I mean, that's possible as well, right? I think Morantz was mentioning, the ring around the rosy of NVIDIA. Just again, you could suck the value that way as well. So every other company would force to buy your product in order to, create that revenue. So they could do that so as well. But imagine if GME were to do that, I'm sure Ryan Cohen would have been in jail, right? It's a matter of, who are you connected to? It's all about connection here. Um, my other point is also to, I think I want to reiterate this one. I know I'm kind of like on my, uh, yeah, I need to go at 8 o'clock. So I have about 10 minutes. So let me finish off by saying this one point right here because I think it's kind of lost in the sauce here, right? But I hope you understand, why I invest in this company and why I think it's such a good company to own. Before I go into the point here, hold on, let me look at this real quick. So of course, book value is going to change because this is just old data here. This is not including the cash raised by the dilution here. Hold on, let me see. See, the float now is going to be 420 something million. So that is going to need to change. Ownership, of course, when Brian Cohen he dilute himself as well. It's worth noted, right? Because Insider used to own 12% of this company. Now it's down to 10. And yeah, board of director, I'm sure they understood this dynamic pretty well. Short volume, I mean, sorry, short interest is pretty high. I know people's like, oh, it's not that high. Well, that's pretty high. For 20% of the company is being shorted, that is remain to be seen. And think about it. This is also the added value to the company as well. People don't take account how many people are shorting this thing, and when they are forced to buy it back or they close their position at a loss, that's going to add uh, to the value of the company as well. I mean, as in terms of share price appreciation here. Okay, I shouldn't say added value to the company, but the share price should be accounted for short shares as well. Um, Now, okay, so one person want you to sell. Um, okay, so yeah, there's no risk of bankruptcy anymore. Of course, the score is way up now. It's ridiculous to say that this company is going to go like Michael Pachter, the same guy who like put in front of you to talk about GameStop, right? He was talking about, oh, now yes, we increase the price target, but if they are, continue the same path, they're gonna go bankrupt within 3 years, 3 to 4 years. I'm like, how? I mean, I'm gonna call him name here, but I'm gonna refrain myself from doing so. But how can a company go bankrupt with $4 billion? Okay, and not only 4 billion, and they're profitable now, meaning they're not losing. There's no loss anymore. There's no cash burn anymore. How can they go bankrupt in 3 to 4 years? Makes no sense whatsoever. Ever, right? Now you could say, oh, they might not grow. Okay, I think that's probably a better assessment because apparently Ryan Cohen is a dumbass, right? A dumb person, right? The dumbest CEO ever, apparently. So the worst case scenario, the company doesn't grow, right? So that's all you could say. Not bankruptcy, just slowly churning, right? That's it. Slow turtle over here. Worst case scenario, they make $24 million. Yeah. So that's the worst case scenario that these people could do. But to say, oh, in 4 years going to go bankrupt, that is such a um like it's not even a good assessment to have. But anyway, um, so this is the last point I want to put out. I'm sorry, it's terrible at delivering my thought here, but here we go. So the S&P 500, right? Of course, that's like our goal to get into. But my point of view is that every single CEO out there, you think about like every company have debt, right? And usually that's like touted as like, oh yeah, every company has debt. Some debt is good, da, 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 right? And I'm thinking it's like, okay, so every single company out there has debt, and it's being normalized to have debt in the company. And I'm like, how many company out there that operate without debt? How many CEO out there who knows how to operate at a profit without debt? Can you name one? And now you have this company, with this leadership, you know, Ryan Cohen over here, right, peeking his face over here, who could operate, at a slower pace. At that, yes, granted, yes, slow, for most people, but for me, I mean, 3 years to turn around this company, it's like it's not a easy task here. But uh, and so every company out there need debt to survive. Think about that. So now you have company with cash, and people are psychologically kind of uh, think of cash as trash for some reason, right? They want you to think that cash is trash when it is the most essential thing in this environment, in this company, right? The fact that they have that on their, balance sheet, it should be sought after by anyone, right? So I think this is where the volume comes in. This is why there's peak interest in this company. So it might not just be retail, right? It's not. It might not just be retail. I'm sure every institutions out there is quietly accumulating, a stake in this company. Again, maybe in 6 7 months you would know who those big money are. Maybe Evolution Capital could be. I mean, anything could happen, but again, there's so many smart um, people out there who see this who see this company as worth everything. Of course, that's my opinion, right? I'm biased in that sense too because I invest in this company. So yeah, just keep in mind that's my ground to stand on here, or should try to get people to stand on as well, is to look at the company unbiasedly, without all the hype from either side. And that's the only way that you would know which price point that you're willing to be like, okay, this is the price that I want to kind of buy. Um, when it was at $10, right? I was saying to myself, even of course from Marantz as well, he was like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. And I was like, yes, of course it's a no-brainer because this one right here was the first profitable quarter, or trailing 12 that we had. That $6 million that people scoff at, right? So that's the trailing 12. Positive trailing 12 never happened in the history of this company for 7 years. And the price dropped. Like, and then people were like, oh, this is the end of the company. This is shitty. Da, 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 da. Like, again, if you were swayed by these people, you would have lost out on this particular one. I know, there are, like Tony De Niro as well was trying to convince people that the GME only worth $5. Like, oh, the analyst is right. Like, no, it's not true because you're not taking account the leadership that are able to do this, and you underestimate leadership uh, because they don't talk to you, right? Because he's not giving guidance because of whatever. So that's your loss. I mean, it's your loss. It has nothing to do um, with your own assessment. I'm sure you have been swayed by somebody to buy into the or to sell into the loss, even though take a loss, right? Again, the sentiment from the traders is different from the investor here. So understand yourself as well. Which one do you want to be? Of course, I'm a hybrid, right? And kind of like what Warren Kitty is doing. Of course, not to that extent, obviously. I don't have the knowledge to when to buy into the um, options. Don't time it as perfect as he did. But if you are able to kind of write option and kind of like at every turn, you use that premium to accumulate the shares at every price, right? Average cost down and all that stuff. Those income, those incremental premium that you receive from these people betting up and down, you take advantage of the gamblers out there, right? And so instead of you gambling, you have the premium in order to accumulate shares. And I think this is what Ron Kitty has been doing as well, right? He write the call option in the right time and then use that call option to accumulate shares. He's demonstrated that he did it for 3 years. And for 3 years, he's able to come from like he 100x his position, right? Because his original position was like 800,000 shares, right? 800,000 shares. And now it's like 100x. That would be 9 million shares. I mean, a little bit more than 100, but you know what I mean, right? So he was able to do that in 3 years. So that is the pinnacle of success there, right? I know people are gonna, people are bears who thinks that, oh, he's gonna dump that $9 million on you, backholder, and all that stuff. It's like, okay, if you want to laugh at that, great. Look, even if Roy Kitty were to sell all of his position, all of that shares, what is that to me? Great, I would get the share to hold for the future of the company, right, at a lower price. Let's say he dumped it all and the company the share price went down to $10. You think I'll be like crying? You think I'll be like, oh my god, I get to buy GameStop at $10 again? So again, it's a win-win for me, obviously, and I wouldn't fault him if he were to dump everything here. Um, my assessment on thing, I don't think he's gonna dump. I think he's a long-term investor over here, and there is a possibility that there's a lot of people who kind of like saying this too, that he might join the board of director. That would be bullish for this company because again, the sentiment of this company is that we want people to be here for the long term, not just some fly by night pump and dump bullshit that you're seeing, that the media want you to think about this company as, right? Again, to distract people as much as possible to see the real value of this company. Okay. And again, the same sentiment, the same freaking sentiment, no change. There's no complete, like, they always change their goalposts, right? Their goalpost is like, oh, this company is going bankrupt. This company is what? Burning cash. This company doesn't make anything. $6 million. That's no big deal, right? And even up until this point, they still have like a very low expectation of leadership here, even though they know that cash is is a position in which that you should have thought of. But yeah, so I mean, this is his masterpiece, right? Coming on the live stream, news media, they were covering him on live, and I think he tweeted this out too. It's like it's the funniest thing ever, right? And again, the fact that this company is such a small company and it's like reaching national news, that means something, you guys. Like, at the very least, that is the publicity. You want people to talk about your company, right? Hopefully, in the good or bad, it's still publicity. It just the more controversial it is, the better for the company outlook. Good for the brand, good for the future of the company if they want to raise money even more, right? Even though $4 billion is nothing to scoff at here, like I said. But anyway, so it's 8 o'clock right now. I need to go. But anyway, I'm so sorry about the previous live stream, you guys. I already deleted, so you won't be able to see it. For those of you who were live, I apologize. But yes, and also apologize for not reading the chat as well. I